Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, I'm Kerry L. Watt and welcome to the show. Now, I was reading recently on Forbes that if businesses want to attract people to their website, they must create content that is going to delight, enthrall, and engage people with their brand. Creating a loyal following requires developing a relationship on trust, and video is absolutely an incredible way to do this. With more than 1.9 billion people visiting YouTube each month, it's no wonder that video is becoming a part of companies' content strategy. And HubSpot says that 97% of marketers claim that video helps customers understand products. And Social Media Today claim that 90% of consumers say a video will help them make a purchasing decision. Now, my guest today has some fascinating insight into video content, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So please welcome Libby Watt to the show. Welcome, Libby.
Oh, hi.
And for those of you that are listening carefully then to our names, you'll notice that we have the same last name. Libby, you are, in fact, my baby sister, aren't you?
I can clarify that, yes.
So it might sound like I'm having a conversation with myself at times, as we are like ridiculously similar. So I'll try and change up my voice a little bit.
Me too.
So let's go back to that statistic that 90% of consumers say a video help them make a purchasing decision. Like, I personally have to say that I'm in that percentage. I would say video definitely helps me. Would you agree with that?
100%. I think I'm actually quite surprised it's not higher. I think if you're looking at something such as a technical item like a coffee machine, if you can see the video display of the coffee machine being used, see how easy it is, see how you change it, see how all the accessories function with it, then of course you're going to be more inclined to buy that than a copy print ad for a coffee machine, which you don't really know much about. It's quite simple, really. The videos and products, it just shows you so much more about them. It's simple. I'm surprised it's not higher.
And I would say when exactly like you just said, to see something before you buy it, I guess it's like that old, well, it's not old, people still do it, but where we have the people that actually go into the store and demonstrate those coffee machines, or they demonstrate vacuums or whatever kind of products it is. But video gives people a whole new platform to reach like millions of people, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what would you say is the biggest misconception or myth that small businesses have about video content, specifically for social media, say?
I think the unfortunate issue that does happen with social media video content is everyone has this obsession with the ideology of going viral. And everyone's obsession with viral means that they sort of take away from the actual essence of their business goals. They really actually forget what the audience wants. They forget what they're actually trying to achieve. They forget what the actual true message of their product is or their service. And I've seen it quite a lot of times. You'll have a meeting with a client and they just sit down and go, we want to make it viral. And that honestly is often just the brief you get. You don't get anything about brand identity. You don't get anything about where the brand wants to go, a new audience they're trying to reach, about how they want to disrupt the market. They just say they want to make it viral because people sort of have this essence that if you can get 1 million views on Facebook, then wham, bam, your stock's going to go up. You're going to be in the billions. Your life is going to be made. And it's just not like that. But that would be a huge, huge misconception. People really focus on going viral. And if people just sort of strip it back to the bare basics of what video truly is, if it's meant to go viral, it will organically. And if not, then at least you've still done a good piece of content for your business.
And I personally would say that certainly a lot of very famous viral videos, that was not their intention. It just, exactly like you just said, just organically grew because it was awesome, and that wasn't the objective.
No, I think an example, although it wasn't for a small business, was a friend of a friend made a video, and I saw it at the beginning of last winter. Sort of one of my friends shared it on Facebook, and it was what turned into the John Lewis £50 ad. of the gentleman with the tapes from his mother. It was a couple of filmmakers. Friend of a friend was one of them, and I saw it, and it was very beautiful, but it didn't have many views, and you just sort of watched it, you're like, oh, that's so lovely. A few weeks later, sort of, it was on This Morning, it was millions of views, everyone was talking about it, and it sort of really scaled, and sort of, when you saw the original filmmakers and their reaction to it, you could tell that their intention had never been to be the next John Lewis. Their intention had never been to fight for an ad job or for a filmmaker's job or to be John Lewis's new creative agency. They wanted to tell a story, and they had £50, and they had heart, and that's what made it go viral.
That's amazing. I love that. I love hearing examples of people doing things like that, because that's exactly it. That's what I mean. People that I've seen go viral, that wasn't their intention. They just wanted to share something awesome. And I think, I mean, certainly from working in PR, I have a lot of clients that say to me, they're completely unknown, and they're like, we want mainstream media, I want to be on telly tomorrow. And I guess, like, my reaction to that is like, okay, well, there's a few steps before we get there. And I can imagine, is that how you feel when someone just, in a briefing meeting says, I want to go viral, and you're like, no?
Yeah, it does kind of make you cry a little inside, because that obviously, I mean, I get the whole who doesn't want to go viral shebang, but that's not how business logic works. And unfortunately, as a creator, it's the most frustrating thing, because like we said, viral isn't something you can predict. It just happens. It's chance, it's algorithms, it's, a chance endorsement by someone who's well known. It's not something you can predict. And, good content is great content, but viral is something else. It shouldn't be an aspiration.
I love that. Thank you. And can I ask what led you to go into the field of photography, videography?
Essentially, I was just a heinously awkward teenager and young adult who was extremely shy. I had a knack for people watching. I academically was very successful at media and film. So I think it kind of very naturally spun into me getting my first camera. All of a sudden I was teaching video in New York. I, then got some great jobs with documentary companies. It was something that I think I was able to really identify with people's stories. And to me, I found such solace in being able to capture emotion. To me, I found it quite a privilege that I was able to capture someone's smile without them noticing, at a wedding, or, just there was something so truthful in being able to work in photography and video, especially in the field that I do, where a lot of it's candid, a lot of it's events, a lot of it's quite emotionally driven. So I can kind of get the rawness of human emotion. And I really like being that observer and being the person to preserve those memories for people. To me, that's quite a beautiful and I think it's quite a privilege in life to be able to do that.
That's amazing. Well answered. That was and I have to say, obviously being big sis, that I have obviously a little bit of extra intel than I usually do with my guests. And you have actually always loved photography and film and video and stuff. I've always been amazed, even as a mid to late teenager, you were adamant that's what you wanted to do, and I was like, yeah, she'll change your mind, she'll change, and you haven't. You've stuck with it. You've done incredible work, and I think that passion definitely comes across.
Thank you. I know I do remember sort of writing my first scripts when I was about 12 or 13, and I started to try and get sort of screenplays from films that I liked and sort of self-taught myself from then. I won my first 48-hour film competition when I was 17 with an iconic monster film, which we won't talk about. And I don't know, it's always been something I've loved. It's a huge passion, and I just think it's such a wonderful field to work in. I think it's quite upsetting now, kind of videos really exploded over the past couple of years, and it's lost a lot of what it used to be, the video industry, and now it's become a lot more about fancy schmancy cameras and who's the best at motion graphics, and it's become a lot of kind of creative twaddle, if you will, and it's kind of lost a bit of its heart. So I'm quite happy that I've been able to sort of remain in my bit more raw workscape as such with the field, and not kind of gone into what I feel a little bit of a destructive side of video.
Would you say that's because film and photos is so accessible? Anyone with an iPhone can call themselves a photographer. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. it can be quite frustrating when you spend so many years, I guess, sort of working on exhibitions, working on collections, working on sort of studying the art of photography and film, and people who just have a soft focus and a hard focus on their iPhone then start calling themselves a photographer. And filters isn't photography. Photography is subtext. Photography is a story. Photography is crafting your art. There's so much more to it, and I think it does feel a little bit diminished. And where iPhones and sort of DSLRs and sort of camera kit has become a lot more accessible, a lot more affordable, more people are getting it, more people are investing, and there's a lot of people are dependent more so on their equipment than they are the talent. And I think what's happened a little bit now is people are unfortunately resting a little bit more on equipment than actually trying to upskill, trying to graft, trying to really put that time into crafting themselves as an author and as a director, as opposed to learning how to master their camera work.
Yeah, that's so true. And I would say that you just nailed it there with saying that people have kind of got all this stuff and they think just because they've got a camera they're a photographer, or just because they can do a video and edit it on some kind of free software they found online that that makes them a videographer. But I know firsthand just from kind of watching your career and what you do is that there's just so much more that goes into it. Yeah. I wondered, could you tell us about a video that you really enjoyed creating as well? Tell us about a project.
Okay. So this might sound really silly. It was actually a rap music video, but bear with me here.
Amazing.
So it was for a summer camp. So I was a media manager at a summer camp for a couple of years, which was awesome. And one of the campers in a music lesson wrote a rap about how much he loved the camp. And now it was really quite lovely because this camper had been there for about 6 years, and he was always known as kind of he was like the Robin out of a duo of another camper. So this was his first breakout track essentially on his own, because he always wrote songs with this other bloke, boy, but the boy was always kind of like the lead and he was always the background guy. So he was like, right, this is my moment, I'm doing my own rap, I'm doing it. So he was super proud. He recorded his little rap, and the music teacher kind of came to my office and was like, Ryan's sort of done this epic rap, what do you think? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. We have to do something with this. So we invited Ryan into an official meeting in my office, and he was really, really nervous. He's like 11 years old and he's like, what's going on? And we just said, we want to make you a rock star. And he was like, what do you mean? Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, do I get more jelly? And genuinely, that's what he said. He loved jelly. Jam. And where was I? Yes. So then what we did was we created this Rockstar Experience Day, but we spent the whole day from period one right down to the bonfire at the end doing a music video for the rap. And it was insane. It took so long. I was storyboarding it way into the night before, and it was a labor of love. And we got it edited quite quickly. And at the end of camp, we showed it. All of the camp celebrated. And then it turned out to be one of the lead marketing videos that the camp has been using since, because they say, this is the arts program, this is what we achieve. You can make this video, you can make this music, you can make this rap, this embodies, because it has loads of silly isms and things about camp that only really campers get. And because it captured the vibe and the silliness of camp, they've now used that as kind of their lead marketing video. And it makes me so proud because the reaction from other parents has been phenomenal. I know it's helped get more people interested in the arts program at that camp. And it was an accidental best marketing video I've ever done, because to me, it really embodies the camp's core goals and the absolute beauty of what the camp can achieve. So to me, I was so proud of that. And the fact that they use that as their marketing video, yeah, it just makes my heart sing.
And I guess it goes back to that storytelling that you said that you really enjoy. And the great thing about video is that obviously that's just going to keep going forever. Like they can
absolutely.
And they're making money from it. More people are signing up to camp.
It's timeless. And it included all of his friends, all of his cabin mates, all the people who were in his division. So there was a whole bunch of them involved, and they really like it because it means that they can grow up with that video sort of embedded, they're captured forever as 11-year-olds. It's beautiful. I love it a lot.
Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was bonkers, but my child enjoyed it and watched it about 100 times. So I can say that, yeah, it was a hit. So going back to video for companies, what would you say are the advantages of using video in your social media content strategy?
The advantages are simply the fact that not only does video obviously come up higher on all social media feeds, as we all know now, good old Facebook, algorithms and all that, but I think you are able to achieve so much more of your brand messaging in such a minute time. Copy, no matter how good your copy or how good your website UX is, it's still so much harder to kind of describe what your company is, what your your tone of voice is, but you can achieve all that in a 30-second clip. If you just have a single print ad, it doesn't really, it can explain to a certain extent who you are and what you believe in, but video really establishes the voiceover, the music, the tone, the color grading, everything about it means that you can shape your business identity in lightning speed, quicker than any other platform. And to me, that's what is most important about video, especially using it as a business, because that's how you get your customers. And the fact that then you are able to, video is all about trust, and you are then able to get people to trust you. If they see your director, if they see a sales assistant, if they see the receptionist, if they see someone who's a product tester, they are much more likely to buy into you. If they like you, if they know what they're walking into. It's quite nice if you're going into a bar and you've already seen a promo video and you're like, hey, I recognize that bartender from the promo video. It's all about the journey and about trust. And I think that's definitely why video is best.
Yeah. And I love that example that you just say about, recognizing people or just because people have been using video for, hotels have been doing it for years. So you can see a conference room before you book it, or exactly the same principle, isn't it? And I wondered, because I think when people hear a phrase like video content strategy, or it can just kind of sound really overwhelming, or people can really overcomplicate it. Can you do it quite simply? That's my question. Basically, for social media, can you do video really easily? Like if you're a one-man band or one-woman band or a really small company or you've got no budget, is it easy to
do? Yes and no. It just really does depend on your own network and who you know. You might be quite lucky that you've got a graduate friend of a friend who is more than happy to do you a favor. It might just so happen that you might get a student who's just starting out who does it just for expenses. So it does depend on your own situation, but I know quite a lot of people have gone on to, Facebook groups. What a wonderful, wonderful topic. They always have lots of little local groups for the area. And I've seen quite a lot of people who I know have put adverts on there saying, looking for photographers, looking for videographers. Does anyone know anyone? And obviously when a lot of the smaller and affordable filmmakers can get lost in Google search when you're looking for things around the area, those groups have actually turned out to be quite lucrative for finding affordable filmmakers in the area who can make something for you. If you are lucky, if you are a natural storyteller, then by all means you can always capture it yourself. But if you are a business owner, it would be a good idea to have yourself in it. So it's always try and get an external party to try and do it for you. But it does definitely depend on who you are, your network. But just reaching out to your community, your local filmmaking groups, even sort of university societies, etc., is a great way to sort of get an affordable video.
Yeah, and I guess it's like any kind of marketing activity. Like you can kind of keep it really simple, or you can go all in and do it complicated and just, all bells and whistles, can't you? So
unfortunately, a lot of people think that video is a huge cost. People do sort of assume that, especially sort of mid-weight sort of SME businesses often think that they need to be spending, $5,000 on a promotional video, and they sort of forget that they can strip it back and there are cheaper options. They don't have to go to that expensive ad agency. They don't have to necessarily go with that production company. There are very accessible freelancers who you can find on things like Upwork, etc., who are able to do it at a much more effective price for your business.
And I guess, personally for me, I run a, micro business, but in essence, my business, I'm the face of it. And I, a few times a week we'll do like LinkedIn videos, and that's literally just me and my phone. And I do those videos to like, obviously, you know, to consistently stay in front of my, you know, ideal clients and so the world is still kind of seeing me. So there's that kind of video as well as like the promo stuff, isn't there? Would you say there's like a better one to do, or is it nice to do both?
I think it's definitely dependent on your business type. For you, for example, it is great that you do that sort of, and on your phone or however it is you do it, as long as it's obviously not too low quality. It just does depend on what you're offering. You can definitely oversaturate it. Many people are guilty of producing too many videos because they think that's what everyone wants to see. So then they start kind of like whizzing videos out like 3 times a week. And it's just like, no, like consolidate it. Keep the content good. Like, you know, quality, not quantity. Got the wrong way around. Quality, not quantity. That one. I think obviously for where you are and sort of maybe more of the coaching element, you definitely, the heavy video use and those kind of daily peps are very relevant. But for sort of more retail-y or sort of smaller businesses, etc., they wouldn't necessarily be appropriate. I know quite a lot of businesses I've seen, especially last year, had a rise in office vlogs. Quite a few companies I saw, and it's quite interesting, do a little office vlog. They have a designated person who just does a little office roundup every sort of week of sort of footage they've collated. And I think that's quite a nice little way to kind of personify the business, as long as you're professional enough to get away with it and it's not, you know, Steve over there hungover with a pizza at 3 p.m. You know, I think that kind of regular video content also works because it sort of shows the fun side of the business and how it works, and kind of it helps the clients then understand actually what's happening with that business that they're dealing with, that they have other clients, that they've got lots going on, sort of it gives them a little bit more understanding about the structure. So yeah, it just really does depend on what business you are.
And people love behind the scenes. I know I do.
I'm a sucker for it. Yeah. Absolutely sucker for it. I go into a YouTube hole after every time I watch a single film. I'm just like, I want to see everything behind the scenes about it. I want to know how it's made. I want to know about the pre-production. I want to see the casting tapes. I want it all. I'm a nerd. But yeah, behind the scenes is also good. Always good.
And lastly, how do smaller businesses get started with video on their, you know, for their social media platforms? What's the best way for them to start?
As I said earlier, it'd be looking into your local community groups. There's quite a lot of filmmaking groups in cities and towns. There's also societies at universities. Again, there's utilizing Facebook groups, utilizing Twitter hashtags. I've seen a few people use. That's not always super successful. The Facebook groups usually is. And usually just sort of putting the word out there on your own social media, and it just kind of depends how big the area is you're in. For example, if you're in a small town, then word of mouth often can sort of get you in touch with, you know, Josie's son-in-law, who actually is a professional filmmaker and is more than happy to do a favor at budget price or something. So yeah, it definitely does depend on how small and how well connected you are. But usually it's just putting yourself out there.
And to have an objective, I guess, to actually like, what do you want to get out of it? Are you doing videos to make more sales or to raise your profile? Or would you say that's important to consider as well?
100%. I think other than going viral, the issue with client briefs is often that they don't know what they want. They just know what they don't want. And that's really hard to deal with because that doesn't really give you much room to kind of plan if you don't really know what they're trying to achieve. So if you don't know if they're trying to achieve more sales, do they just want to increase brand awareness, or are they trying to establish who they are as a brand and it's not sales driven? Are they just trying to introduce their staff to a wider company? Are they just trying to do a product explainer? Are they trying to show you their charitable goals for the next 5 years, their plan? You know, if you really have your key messaging set down, that's a huge help. And a lot of the time people don't. They just think, we need a video, go. And they sort of don't really think about coherently what those objectives of the video are.
And what the point is. Yeah,
absolutely. Like, why are people watching? What do people get? It's not just what you're offering, but what are you offering for other people to consume? Like, why does anybody want to watch it? You know, you have to think about not only the entertainment side, but you have to be able to offer someone an experience, and you have to be able to offer someone to take away from it that they will remember you. So if you don't know what you're selling, and if you don't know what your video content is going to be, then it will just be awful. quite frankly.
No, I appreciate the honesty. It's good. And is there anything that you feel is important for people to know that we haven't covered today?
Crikey. No, but that makes me think I should have thought about that question before, but I didn't. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, no. Is there something that you were egging towards that I have missed?
No, not at all.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a trick question.
And thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's been really, really useful for myself, and I'm sure the listeners will really, really love it. Thank you so much for being here today. And how can someone that wants to find out more hear about Libby Watt and how you can help them?
I have a portfolio website on www.what. I should say that again. www.whatsthestory.co.uk. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Libby. Thanks for being here, and thanks everyone for listening. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.